The man who abducted a woman and assaulted her at a West Auckland quarry bowed his head and clamped his eyes closed as the jury foreperson responded guilty to the first charge. His head dropped further as guilty verdicts on all charges were returned today in the High Court in Auckland. The Onehunga truck driver who turned 60 today now faces a sentence without end, basically, for the crime. Our reporter Edward Gay has been covering the trial, filing for us on it. Eddie, nice to have you with us in the studio tonight. What can you tell us?
Well, I mean, the victim was present in court today as these verdicts came down, and there were gasps as the guilty verdicts were returned outside the court afterwards. A lot of hugging, a lot of emotion. This young woman was just 23 years old at the time of the attack. She'd been out with friends watching the Gay Pride Parade in Ponsonby, and she was on her way to Karangahape Road around the corner when she became separated from her friends. And coincidentally, she met a stranger, and unbeknownst to her, that man had a rape conviction, and this point was later jumped on by Mitchell's lawyers during the trial, but it was a false lead, and the police were able to rule him out pretty quickly in their investigation. She was stopped from entering a bar later on K Road by bouncers and started making her way home, and the next she knew, a man that police later identified as Mitchell was standing over her wearing a mask and holding what she described as a bat. He was making demands of her to turn around. She refused and scrambled away, and she was eventually able to find a road sign nearby, tell police where she was, and she was 25 kilometres out of town at this quarry in Riverhead.
The evidence she gave was truly horrifying, wasn't it? Yeah. Eddie, I don't know how you sit through this day after day. Footage of a car and a pair of gloves was central to the Crown's case, and I thought the Crown prosecutor was in superb form as she grilled the defendant over the gloves.
Yeah, Kirsten Lummis, she pointed out that investigators immediately began pouring through the CTV footage, the footage captured on these security cameras. They very quickly they had CTV of this, what they believed was a Ford Mondeo entering the quarry and exiting the quarry at the time of the attack. They were also able to link that into a similar car around Great North Road that we know that was where the woman was abducted from. Added to that, of course, were at the scene these gloves, which were later found to have a DNA match to Mitchell, and that's how they caught Mitchell in the end. Mitchell told the court in his defence on the stand that he wasn't the offender, that he had simply tried these gloves on in the warehouse.
And she pointed out they were from a pack of 3, right? A
pack of 3, and that essentially it would have been incredibly bad luck if he was to be believed.
What was the reaction to the verdict, Eddie?
Well, outside court, an advocate spoke on behalf of the victim, and we've actually got her words. We can play those shortly.
Some of you may think that the verdict today would be a cause to celebrate. I couldn't disagree with the statement more. Today is a day to reflect. The fact I came across 2 men in one night who both have sexual assault and abduction convictions is appalling. For each individual with a rape conviction in New Zealand, there are 99 other rape victims where the offender was not caught. In 2014, British medical journal The Lancet published a report indicating sexual assault rates. Out of 56 countries, New Zealand had the 3rd highest rate, more than double the world average. As important as addressing the causes of climate change, we need to ensure New Zealand is a place that we actually want our children, brothers, sisters and friends to grow up in. I will be forever grateful to the New Zealand Police, Help Sexual Abuse Foundation, Kirsten Lummis and her team, as well as my friends, family and other survivors who have given me the courage to stand tall today. Thank you.
That was an advocate speaking on behalf of the victim. Now, Mitchell will be sentenced in May at the High Court in Auckland. The Crown prosecutor, Kirsten Lummis, she's already indicated to the judge today that she will be looking for a sentence of preventive detention, and that essentially means that in order for Mitchell to get out of prison, he'll have to prove that he's no longer a threat to society.
Edward Gay, who has covered the case well. Thank you so much, Eddie. We really appreciate it.